Hey, here's a quick update on Victress bodywork. I know it's been a while. I have been working on it. I'm going to take you around and show you some of the progress. So, panel gaps. Yeah, they're working on the doors, evening out some of the warpage and the smoothness of the gaps. These are looking pretty good. I'm leaving a rough edge for now until I get to final fill. The old, I'll call it the shark fin. You can see from the old original body molding where the smaller shark fin was. I've made it larger, kind of replicated that. That's just so I can have a little bit of a stub of the window track sitting up here. And you can see the original body line here that comes down and dies down to a very fine ridge. Over here on the other side, I had to replicate that. Again, shark fin. And then here, this was like gone. It had been, on the mold was just not evenly done. So I had to go and refill that and replicate that. This door is pretty much done already. Got some final filler to put on top of this, but the fiberglass work is done. I've got this body line nice and straight. This one was way off. This door was very warped. So I've got this nice and straight now. You can see it follows all the way up. And it dies in over at right in front of the front wheel. This is all trimmed. All the wheel wells are all trimmed. I had a little fender rub here. I had to go back and redo some of this. And this side as well. So that's all been redone. I'll show you the process I'm using to set the body gaps. So over here on the hood, I'm in my second round of this. What I basically use is I have some vinyl and rubber baseboard of a couple different thicknesses. Actually, this vinyl baseboard and then just some rubber strip. And I will go ahead and I'll stuff them into the cracks to set the body gap how I want. I'll go around and I will take a look at which side is high and which is low. In this case, this side was low and this was high. And I'll just mark with a pencil all the way around. Have that filler strip in there to set the gap. And then I'll just trowel on short strand fiberglass filler just to fill that gap up tight and to even out the two sides. Then you come around and then you sand across the two. I'm actually using an orbital sander on the fiberglass. And what you end up with when you even the gaps out is a nice smooth fiberglass finish here. And then when you're just touching the other panel, you know you've got it right. So I'm on the second round of this now. I've got to have a wider gap in the front here because as the hood comes up, this gap gets very, very tight and pinches a little bit, just the nature of the hinges. So this will be a little wider in the front than on the sides. That's just out of necessity. But here I'm on the second round. Once you're done sanding it down, if you have any voids left, you can come and put another skim coat in there. I'll go ahead and once this sets up, I'll pull these pieces out and I'll hit it with the sander again. All right, once this is a little bit tacky now, I can go ahead and pull these out. All right, you can see you've got a nice clean edge here. A little bit of a much there. And then just come back in with the sander. I'm gonna let this cure up a little bit more before I hit it with the sander. But you can see how that's starting to really even up the height of the seams all the way around. All right, time to sand, I think. Okay, now after sanding there, you can see how nice and smooth that is. You can see like the first coat, second coat, you progressively fill it in. Then you get here, there's still a couple of low areas, I'll come in and do a quick little skim coat. At some point it's too thin for fiberglass, so you just use regular body filler. I'll show you here how nice and even that looks all the way down. This, you can see there's quite a bit of buildup here. This was a good 1/8 inch or more low to the hood. And so that's smoothing that right out. The other thing I'll do, because these are it can be a little wavy, I'll take a tongue depressor with 80 on either side, and that's the gap I'm looking for. And I'll just slide that through there, and like that, and straighten that gap right out and take any chunks off the edge. But on the sides, that's about the gap that I'm looking for. I'll show you what happens in the front here with the hood when I open it up. Here's an example of the challenge with the door hinges. When this gap is nice and even, but right here on the point, focus, as the door opens, you can see this gap gets much tighter there. That is probably just enough to clear that. Again, you're going to have buildup of paint on there, so you don't want this to be touching and catching. But these door hinges are pretty solid, so that is going to be just fine right there. Over here on the other side, that gap is a little bit tighter. And when I open this one, you can see that is almost scraping. That's a little too tight right there. What I'll end up doing is going in and sanding on the inside edge of the door panel to get a little clearance, and maybe a little bit here on the fender just to open this up a little bit so this has some room for paint around here. Again, these are very sharp edges with the fiberglass. I'll end up radiusing this with a finer grit of paper when all the filling is done, just to get a little bit nicer edge, because when it's really sharp like that, you're not going to get paint to stick to that. So it does have to get radiused a little bit. All right, finished sanding the last coat, and I got the hood up, as you can see. But here's the nice smooth finish, ready for body filler. Let me turn the camera inside a little bit. And you see on the line, you can see the amount of fill that it took to level off this particular side of the hood. The other side was pretty nice, actually. And then here, it was really all about the front balance. As I was saying, I showed you that gap. You can see here how tight, how close the hood gets to the nose when you lift it up. So that's why you need that wider gap there in the front. Now I'm going to go ahead and put it down on its wheels and take another look at the body gaps, but I think that's it for now. So, all right, she is down on the wheels. The hood gap looks great, didn't change at all. I did notice on the driver door, this upper gap tightened up a good amount. And the height was off a little bit. I just adjusted the striker, and it fits pretty good, so I actually can open that gap up a little bit just to even it up a little bit. And the passenger side actually moved a little bit more. This one is real tight. The door still operates fine. Again, I adjusted the striker a little bit. But again, that gap is real tight, and the bottom door gap is really, really tight. This one was already tighter than the other one, so that's easy. I'm just going to go ahead and work that and open that up a little bit on that bottom edge. But the clearances to the front, at the front of the door, look great and still clears for the hinges. So, and this is a C3 Corvette chassis, not known as the stiffest chassis in the world. So a little bit of flex there when you get it on its wheels is to be expected. But that is, as I understand it, the way you're supposed to do it. So on to the next phase. All right, thanks for watching.